Good morning. It's Thursday, February 19th, 2026. You're watching the DMZ America podcast with Ted Rall and Scott Stantis. Coming to you from the left, I'm editorial cartoonist Ted Rall.
And coming to you from the crumbling, despicable right, I'm Scott Stantis. And we are joined with the passing of, this is salient, with the passing of Jesse Jackson this past few days. I was reminded of the 1988 Democratic Convention, which was a lot of young cartoonists were there, including one Scott Stantis and one Mike Luckovich. And do you remember ending up at the Jesse Jackson reception at 1 a.m.? And Michael, who can cut a rug, by the way, he is quite the dancer. I can't speak for his hips today, but back then he and I almost missed my flight because the all the hotels in Atlanta had said that the celebration parties had to be over by midnight. The Jesse Jackson one was just cranking up. Do you remember this, Mike?
I vaguely remember it, but if it's at 1 a.m., I've probably had something to drink, and I'm probably not. It's not going to be one of my top of mind memories.
Yeah, that was a remarkable experience, a convention in Atlanta back then. We have stories of remember Tipper and Al Gore making us go to a drag bar. That was interesting.
Yeah, I have had. That's being a cartoonist, it's such a fun, rewarding job. It also, as you guys know, can be very difficult and emotional too. I mean, we're going through some very dark times right now, and so but being a cartoonist, you can do things outside of cartooning. I myself and another editorial cartoonist and comic strip artist, Mike Peters, a few years ago. It was during during George W. Bush's term, and we were going to the White House correspondence dinner, and Stephen Colbert was the MC that night. And so at those dinners, before the dinners, they have cocktail parties. So Mike and I, we had arranged to go to the Washington Post cocktail party. And right before we went down there, I said to Mike, I said, okay, I called him on it. He was in the hotel, and I said, Mike, listen, okay, bring sunglasses. I'll meet you in the lobby, and also bring the phone cord from your hotel phone with you. And he just said, okay. He didn't even ask why. So we go to this cocktail party. And it was really, it's a lot of very important politicians and celebrities, and it got really crowded in there because George Clooney was there with his father. They had just done a documentary or something, and so it got really crowded. So I said to Mike, my fellow cartoonist friend, I said, okay, Mike, let's go out front. So we went out to the entrance. And I said, Mike, put on your sunglasses. This was indoors, by the way, at night. So he puts on the sunglasses. I put on the sunglasses. And I say, Mike, take your phone cord, stick it in your ear, and then run it down the back of your tuxedo. So we both did that. So we're standing at the front as people are coming in, and we're trying not to laugh. And we're trying to act like we're security. And so we thought that George Clooney and his dad were with the security, and we thought they were going to come out, we were going to follow them. But actually the person that came out was Henry Kissinger. He comes out of this thing and he looks at Mike and I, and he says, "Will you escort me to the dinner?" So, honest to goodness, this is what happened. So I said, "Oh, well, sure." And so we start walking down this long hallway to the banquet hall, to where the dinner is, and we get about halfway down, and all these people notice Henry Kissinger, and they start taking his picture. So after a few seconds, I put my hand up and I said, "No more photos," and they all started taking photos. And so we just walked into the in through the dinner, and I think by then Henry Kissinger kind of realized that we were not real security, but you get to do. As you guys know, you get to do fun things like that, and so this job has just been an incredible part of my life.
Well, Mike, it's good to have you. It's definitely been a long time since we got to hang out. I just remember us going to being at the Huntington Library together for a big
right.
big panel discussion. It was about a big celebration for LA Times cartoonist Paul Conrad.
Right.
And I remember, I'm trying, please refresh my memory, because again, libations had been had and I'm not sure I can trust my memory. I seem to remember at one point, someone asking you a question in the audience. It was a big audience of mostly very old people. In other words, people as old as we now are.
Right.
And they said, and this lady, I think it said like, asked you a question. You said, ma'am, I think that's a great question, but I got to piss like a racehorse. And then like you leapt over the table and like ran out the door. Do you remember that?
No. And why did I do that?
Because you had to pee.
Oh, well, that sounds like something I would do, but gosh, that's
and it was on CNN, so that was interesting.
That's why my reputation is so high. I've done all these important things.
Indeed. Well, so should we show some of Mike's cartoons and we can discuss those? Scott, have you sent me your cartoons this week?
Oh, I did not. I'm sorry.
Bad man. Okay, well, if you can maybe
very bad man.
Maybe do that quickly while we're doing. If not, I'll figure out a way to.
I can do it quickly. Should I email them or text them?
Email would be best.
Okay. Keep talking.
You, sir. Thank you. All right, let me pull up some of the stuff that Mike sent me here. Okay, here we go.
Oh yeah, this is a good one to start out with, because I drew this in 2016 when Trump was running, and I knew from the get-go what kind of piece of crap this person was. So I came up with this idea. I've got Hitler, and he's got a red hat on that says "Make Deutschland wunderbar again." And so that was back. A lot of people didn't think that Trump was going to be so dangerous, and I realized that he was, and I hate to say it to say that I was right, but it's just so frustrating.
Yeah, I was just talking to Scott about this offline a day or two ago, and I said, I think I owe my Democratic friends an apology, because I thought he was an asshole and a douchebag, but the first term wasn't really as atrocious as what we're seeing now.
Right.
And I kind of thought a lot of it was overstated and like a lot of and all that. And it turned out, obviously here we are really truly flirting with fascism.
Yes.
And like sort of the sort of quote unquote hysteria of like my liberal friends that I'm usually to the left of turned out to be like more spot on than what I thought. It's not to say that I would have voted for Trump or anything like that, but it's just sort of, it's sort of just no, it's true. This is a prescient cartoon for sure. I always like it when you can show something that is that proves to be right. It's kind of like I spend a lot of time looking at like the official White House Twitter feed or the Homeland Security Twitter feed. And I always one of my comments is always like, this was better in the original German.
Well, you had mentioned prescient cartoons, and I did one yesterday that runs today that I hope is prescient, and it's the one, I don't know, I think I sent it to you. It's the one involving the birthday card that Trump gave to Epstein on his 50th birthday. Do you have that one?
Let me see. I'm going to pull them. Let me see if this.
Yeah, that's the one with the female figure card that Trump didn't draw. That's not it.
This is not it. Okay, let's take that out. Let's see.
Sorry,
we'll get back to that.
Okay.
Well, you could describe it.
No, this is different.
That's not it.
Okay, third time's a charm, maybe.
Okay.
Let's see.
There it is.
Oh, there you go. Nice job, Ted. Okay.
Finally. Yeah.
So I hope this is prescient, because I think that there's more that will keep coming out, despite Trump and Kash Patel and Pam Bonnie's best efforts to keep this all keep us all blinded. I think that more is going to come out. So I just drew the drawing. It
always does.
It does. I know it does. And I drew the illustration that Trump had drawn for Epstein of the woman's body, and at the end, he said, and something about we'll hold on to our wonderful secrets or something like that. So
yes, may every day be another beautiful secret.
A beautiful secret, right? So I just drew that, and instead of making it I made it both a female's body and an hourglass, and Trump's time is running out. So
I don't know that I agree with this, though. I just, because people around him, I mean, people have been falling, CEOs have been stopping have been stepping down from their positions, and other people. This guy, when he said he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue, we all thought, oh, that's bullshit. That can't be right. Well, he can. Apparently, he can certainly blow up like uncharged people in boats.
He can shoot people in the Southern Caribbean, clearly.
Yes, and so I just don't know that there's anything that he can do, especially his followers, the 30-odd%, that's ever going to desert this guy. And they're the first ones to scream, don't do any of about child sex crimes and stuff. They're the first ones to charge other people with grooming young people and all this stuff. But this doesn't seem to play. I don't know that his time is running out. I wish you were right.
Yeah, I hope I am, but I could be wrong. But I think that Republican members of Congress, I think a lot of them know that Trump's evil and corrupt. I think they're looking for a way to finally say, okay, this is it. And if pictures or videos come out of Trump with little kids, I think that would do it. I may be wrong. I may be naive, but I think that might do it. But who knows?
Because we have not found the sub-basement yet, Mike.
Yeah,
we've been looking for it.
We keep thinking, but it doesn't arrive. Yeah,
I've never seen. I mean, I don't think any three of us, we're all roughly the same age, have experienced anything even remotely like this. Your work, Mike, your work, Ted, especially during the George W. Bush administration. Well, I mean, that may have just sounded the alarm that we didn't heed, I suppose. But I mean, there's no context for this. I keep telling people the only advanced degree I hold is from the California Republican Campaign Management College, and it was an intensive study. And all the tools they told us, all the paradigm, here's what happens when this happens. All of that is it doesn't apply at all.
No.
There are no norms.
Well, there's things that have happened that I think that are outside of the political sphere that are having an impact here, right? I mean, Republicans have proven a lot better at organizing on the internet than Democrats have been. The print media, as you guys know as well as I do, is a shadow of its former self. And so basically we are totally in a post-truth media environment where everybody's absolutely sorry, Senator Moynihan, entitled to their own facts and their own truth.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally does not, fact checking makes no difference at all.
Right.
I mean, so that's hard to deal with. I mean, the thing is, Mike, like if Trump if his days are numbered, besides by something like just, dropping dead of a heart attack. Right. Then how does it happen? I mean, that's what I can't see, right? The media doesn't seem to have the ability to stop him. The Democratic Party's in shambles. There's no left, like a 1960s new left kind of thing. There's no, no King's protests scheduled for convenient Sundays every 4 months are not going to do it. So like, what's the countervailing force against Trumpism? It seems to me like he has the playing field all to himself.
Yeah, I think he does, but like you mentioned earlier, death is not far away for him, and
No.
I think if he goes that way, J.D. Vance does not have that poison charisma that Trump has, and so maybe
he's the Admiral Donuts of this analogy.
What's that?
He's the Admiral Donuts of this analogy. He's the guy who succeeded Hitler for a month.
God, yeah, that's right. God, so
his last name was Donuts.
D-O with a umlaut, N-I-T-Z.
Oh, God.
I'm probably butchering the German,
Yeah, well,
such a lovely language too. Go on.
So,
Mike,
anyways, I think that that may. Well, I'm always trying to be idealistic and optimistic. I have 2 little granddaughters, and I'm just hoping that America somehow, in this era that we're in, where truth is, there is no real truth anymore. I hope we can get back to. I wish we could shake ourselves up and start living normally again, and look back at Trump and think, oh, this was just a bad, terrible situation that we will have learned from. But again, I'm being idealistic.
I don't think
so.
that's. I think yeah. I mean, we've talked about this a lot on this podcast, obviously, and that's the power paradigm that he's created. I mean, do you really think? Governor Newsom is elected president in 28, assuming there's an election.
Yeah.
In
assuming
28,
that there's a midterm.
Exactly. Let's just be optimistic and presume there be both. And he comes in and he's going to look at the power that's been accrued by this administration, the executive power. I don't think people in that position walk away from it or dismiss it. And I think that Ted has just sent out a column, what was it, yesterday, Ted, talking about how Trumpism is probably here in many guises to stay. I mean, you have ICE, that's what, now going to be, how many tens of thousands are going, ICE agents?
At least 40,000 ICE agents supervising at least 100,000 beds in like 10 separate facilities. With a budget of at least $38 billion that the Democrats signed off on, by the way.
Yeah. God.
Let me ask you, Mike, are you scared at all? I mean, we're talking about the draconian and the rise of fascism. I think I couldn't agree with you guys more. Are you frightened for yourself? Because you're clearly a high profile critic of this administration. What do you fear for your personal safety at all?
Yeah, so my wife and I, our kids have moved out. I do worry about that. I worry more for my wife because we're just together. But I realize I'm putting myself out there. But I also feel like it's something I need to do. Like I said, I've got grandkids. I feel like I've got to be out there trying to show people what's happening and being and showing that we can move past this, that we can defeat this. And it may be a losing battle, but I feel that this is what I have to be doing. And I am a little bit nervous about it, but I feel like, you know what? I'm here and I have this ability to reach out to people, and I'm not gonna drift away and say, I'm not gonna hide. I could have retired last year. As long as.
And then the ice.
Can you guys hear me? Yes. I'm not hearing you guys.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mike just tried to
wait a
work
minute.
that out. We hear you.
We hear you.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes,
we
can.
Hear you. We just can't see you.
Oh crap! Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's see. What I wonder.
Nothing's more interesting than 3 old guys trying to figure out technology. I mean, this is
God.
This is.
I don't. You know what? I didn't even do anything wrong. Let's see. It
Yeah,
says
but
everyone can see and hear you.
you might have to turn on your camera.
What?
You might have to turn on your camera at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, okay. Oh, let's see. Front camera. Let's see. Front camera. Oh, wait a minute.
Getting warmer. I just saw something.
Did that do it?
It did something, but then it like went away.
Yeah, for a second. Try again.
Oh, let's see.
You muted yourself.
Okay, we still hear you clicking.
Okay. Dang. You know, I'm not seeing anything that's saying, it says I'm in the show.
Are you on the laptop? Are you on a laptop or on a phone?
Oh, crap. I'm on the phone.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know, because I would say reboot. You just have to re-log on again. And just,
yeah, log out, press the red button, and come back in.
Okay, say that again. Log out. So how do I do that?
Just
the
like
the
close
red button.
Yeah.
Because I can barely hear you guys.
Okay. Just do what you did when you came back in. When you came
Okay.
into the show originally.
Okay. Sounds good. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in a minute.
Hopefully.
Or ICE is at the door.
Yes.
Oh man, we're having technical problems. We had this with Steve Kelly last week, and we gotta just insist that guys do it on their laptops. I think there seems to be a much more stable thing. I'm not sure if you noticed, by the way, or if Mike noticed. I put up the Washington State. Mike is a native of Washington State. He was born.
Oh,
in
that's
Seattle
the Washington
area.
State flag?
I know, isn't that clever? Can you imagine? This was one of those committees that just wanted to get to lunch.
Mike, I see you.
We don't see you.
No way.
There you go. Oh,
there
there
he
you
is.
are.
There he is.
Oh, good.
All right.
Yeah, I was just mentioning I have the Washington State flag up in honor of your birthplace.
You're muted. There you now you're good.
Okay.
All right.
Now I can hear you, but it's not easy. I heard you mention the flag in the back of my flag.
Yes.
Scott's flag, the Washington.
The flag of your
Okay, I
people,
see the Washington, but I'm seated behind me is the American flag, and so it's probably 12 years ago. I was at the AJC, my newspaper, and I went to the to the mail area, and I got this package, and I opened it up, and it was this flag, and it was from John Lewis, and he had just sent it to me just out of the blue, and I thought that was so cool, and it was a flag that had flown over the U.S. Capitol, and I'm sure that he probably would just give them to donors or something, but he sent that to me, and I thought that was so nice.
Yeah, John Lewis, of course, the civil rights icon for people who don't know, who passed, a year ago or so?
Yeah.
And former congressman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, not to be forgotten.
I was just mentioning, Mike, I put up the state flag of Washington in honor of your place of birth, but I was also going to make fun of, that had to be the shortest committee meeting ever. They're saying, guys, we got to come up with a flag. What should we put on it? Well, what's the name of the state? Washington. Done. One guy.
We
Done.
have a lot of forests, so we're thinking green.
That's true. God, it looks good though.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, it's not. There are worse.
There are better.
There are better, but at least it's not. Most state flags are just blue with the state seal in the middle of it. And then what's so funny is the states that have changed it, Minnesota, Utah, the MAGA people lose their fucking minds. It's insanity. They literally just go, why would you change it to that woke flag? Let's go with Utah. Utah is literally a beehive, which is currently on their old flag.
Yeah.
It's just like, we didn't change much. We just made it look like it was designed, not by a moron. And
the beehive flag is cool. I love that flag.
Minnesota did the same thing. Minnesota flag is fantastic. They did a great job. And the MAGA that is in Minnesota went nuts, and then they started killing people in the streets. That's
yeah. It's the personality type that MAGA people are just strange to me. I went out to dinner a couple of months ago with a group of guys, and one of the guys is a very successful, smart person, and he starts talking about how he's got these 3 attractive young daughters. None of them have a boyfriend, and he kept talking about, well, they need to date real men, really good men. But this guy loves Trump. And it's just amazing to me that they can believe, they can feel like they want to have quality male for their women, for their daughters, but not for their country. It's weird. I just don't. You can't. And then when I would try and talk to him, in a gentle way, he would bring up stuff about Obama. Well, what about what Obama did and stuff that Obama had never done? But you can't argue with someone like that because he's, like we were talking earlier, he has his own set of facts, and there is nothing that can be done. So you just kind of got to just sit there and deal with it,
Well, yeah, I was at of all places, the dog park, and this guy, very nice guy, ran into him a couple of times, and he starts rattling off exactly what you talked about. He started rattling off facts that were not true. And so I tried to, as you did with your friend, very gently say, well, that's not exactly accurate. What's really accurate is A, B, and C. No, I heard this. I go, and it was one of those preposterous things like, Democrats have a baby factory in Dayton or something,
Right.
I don't think it's in Dayton. I think it's in Cincinnati. So I'm glad you corrected that, man.
Yeah. Pizzagate.
The debate has gotten, and that's what's kind of poisoned our profession, is that, guys like you, guys like Ted, guys, and a number of other editorial cartoonists whose work I respect, and you give some thought to what you're saying, but that doesn't go very far anymore. That cash doesn't spend, and it's just the weirdest goddamn thing. It's so frustrating because I have a brother, my oldest brother, who watches Fox 29 hours a day. And I suggested, I'll bullet point this, I swear, but I'm a flag collector, and I'm in the flag collecting group. Yeah, there's not a lot of women. But one of our officers suggested that if indeed we do absorb Greenland and Canada or whatever, if there are other states, that it just gets the part with all the stars gets very crowded. Why not just go back to the 13 stars?
Yeah.
And this goes back to what we're just discussing about state flags. Is my brother, again, Fox News, was just like, no, we can't. No, wait, that's disgusting. We can't do that. Just leave it the way it is. I go, well, but if they add another state, it will change.
It will.
No, just leave it the way it is. And it's like going, oh my God, we're going back to the 13-star flag, which can look pretty awesome, frankly.
Yeah.
But just that level of irrationality. Do you feel? I mean, how are we relevant anymore, Mike? And I hate to be that guy. Well, I don't hate to. I keep saying it. But in all seriousness, I mean, our work. I'm still drawing for the Chicago Tribune. That work gets unless it's an obit cartoon, gets almost no attention.
Yeah, I've found that I hear from people. They're mainly people that agree with my point of view, but they find that they're I guess, for a better word, they're comforted by the cartoons because they feel like, hey, I'm not the only one that's seeing what's happening here, and it brings a little bit of I don't know, it is comforting. It's people are comforted by it, and like when I go. When I've done a book signing, and I go to a part of Atlanta that is Decatur, which is a very liberal area, a book they did, I get lines of people, and people pack the auditorium to hear me talk because. And as I'm signing books, I keep hearing that same thing. Thank you for what you do because, it makes me feel like I'm still somewhat sane as I view all the crap that's going on. So I think that's something that we still have. That's something that's still positive, but I don't think we're going to reach too many MAGA folks. The only way we start reaching MAGA folks is if Trump's criminality and and evilness, if it just, and I think there's still going to be MAGA folks that are still going to stick with him no matter what. It's a cult. But I think there's going to be some that are going to break away once they see what's actually, if they can see what's actually happening. That's a big question, like we talked earlier about where people get their information. But at some point, I think it just becomes a dam that breaks. But again, I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I think that's possible.
Okay,
Mike,
Ted, I can't hear you what you're saying. Maybe you're just mouthing words now.
Mike, this is on you.
I can't. Can I hear you, Scott? Or you say something, Scott?
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now I can't hear you either. Doggone it.
This is.
We're not just playing with your mind.
You know what? Well, listen. Maybe I should just. Oh, let me try one other.
Okay.
It is. Okay.
Do you hear us now?
Yeah, I can't hear you guys.
Okay. I don't know.
I can't hear you, but you look fabulous. Hey, let me thank you guys for having me on here. And to
where the hell did that come from?
The millions that are listening and paying attention, I apologize that I have to leave. But I can't. I have no understanding of technology, so I apologize.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks
very
much, Mike, for joining us.
Really appreciate it.
You're saying, get the hell away from me, Luckovich. All right, gang. Bye-bye.
All right. Goodbye. Bye, Mike. We'll leave Mike backstage in case he can ever, whatever.
We lost another one.
Whatever. Yeah, they're dropping like flies. I mean, I'm starting like, who's the biggest danger to editorial cartooning? I think it's us. Anyway,
can I change the subject? Can I kind of dovetail into another topic that's really on my mind? Because my kids have been thinking seriously. My grandson, who's adorable, and I sent you the video, which I'm sure you looked at, Ted.
I did.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
you can agree that he's adorable.
Run a show here. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm just saying that. But anyway, so they're looking at America right now, and they're looking seriously at leaving. They're talking to some people and leaving. I won't say where, what the timeline is or any of that stuff, but we've talked about this before in the show.
Yep.
Are we there where people who would not be threatened, they're scared to raise a child in the environment of the United States right now? Just to throw something out, a friend is a stretch, but an acquaintance I know, Brian May, who's the lead guitarist for Queen, has announced that they're not going to tour in the United States. That's just too damn dangerous.
Wow.
Their fear for their child, and I suspect most Americans fear. We had 2 school shootings last week. Ted, did you hear anything about it? Because they become normal. Because now we don't even, when little children are shot, we don't care. We don't give a shit. We live in a country
it's not news. Objectively, it's not really news.
Well, and that's horrifying in and of itself. So my question to you, and I really want your opinion on this, and if we have any of the viewers or listeners, I'd like to get theirs as well. Is it time to go now? Is it time before, as you've mentioned, looking at other fascists and how they work, people who dissent, they're not very stringent about, oh, no, you can't leave. In fact, quite the opposite, up to a point. They say, no, leave. Get the hell out of here.
Usually.
Yeah. And so you have time. But I'm just,
well, like before the Holocaust, the Nazis tried to expel Jews from Europe. And then when the war began and there was an Allied blockade, they couldn't do that anymore. And they didn't have diplomatic relations to do it with. So they, that's when they came up with the final solution. Look, the thing is, if history repeats or rhymes, well, obviously the sooner you got out in the 30s, the smarter you were, right? So sooner is better. Nothing bad will happen for leaving earlier. So maybe that's right. Look, I don't think the danger is the same for everybody. And it's like, I think frankly, the danger is greater. There's some people who are higher on the list than you and me, Scott. Not a whole lot, but some people. And then but most people are lower on the list than you and I are. And I think, it's kind of like, you look at Germany, there were people who were never going to be targeted by the regime. And the only real danger to them was when the Allies invaded Germany itself, and they might have been, injured or killed then. So I don't know if we're going to get to the point where the EU would ever attack the United States to bring us back to democracy. But there's no doubt that there's a heightened threat awareness. I don't know that like Joe and Jane average is in particularly a lot of danger. But if you openly take on this administration, I think you're taking a chance.
No, I couldn't agree more. I just, I think they have time. I think, like you said, the average person. But if you're looking at, you don't want to raise your children in this environment, and if you feel that there's a real threat, and I think there is a real threat. I mean, you and I are, how can I put this? Aggressive drivers, or at least emotional drivers. I'm less so now because I don't know if the other guy in the car has a gun.
Sure.
That maybe that's exactly what they say. A good person with a gun will stave off Scott Stantis flipping you off because you drove into his lane. I'm flummoxed, and I'm thinking if you and I were in that position and our children were much younger, would we be considering leaving?
Well, we are considering leaving.
We are, but we're also high profile, like you mentioned, high profile critics of this administration.
I don't know. I mean, I think the thing is, you could just simply say part of it is also this is a country in decline, economically, and in a lot of other respects. And we don't have a good safety net. This country doesn't have a bright future in the foreseeable future. So, I could see people just saying like, I'd rather be in a country that at least that's maybe ascendant or certainly not in decline. I think that's, I think that's maybe more the take. It's less about political. It's less about that than about politics, than about just sort of the economic future, I would say. And do we think Puerto Rico should be the 51st state?
Oh, that's a great question. I've gone around. The Republicans will never allow it because it will.
It's up to the Puerto Ricans, of course, I think.
And how many times in my lifetime, in your lifetime, Ted, have they voted on a referendum on this? And it always comes out, we like things the way they are. Yeah, we're cool. We get protections from the United States, but we don't have to, deal with, we don't get representation in the
and presidential candidates will never visit, but that wouldn't change if they became a state because they'd be so small.
Well, and they're also be very reliably Democratic, I would suspect. And so the Republicans won't allow it. But the question was to you and me. I would say yes. I would extend to them the opportunity and say, you have a referendum. You guys decide you want to be a state. We'll make you a state.
I say if you're Puerto Rican, either be a state or go independent. Honestly, like go big or go home and do your own thing. I would vote for independence personally.
I would too.
It's a colony, and being a colony isn't good.
But their economy, that's where, I mean, it's, you mentioned it's a small economy. It's service-based for the most part.
It's tourism. Yeah.
It's tourism. So does it have a sustainable economy?
Well, all of the Caribbean countries kind of like don't have robust economies because of that problem, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you this. Years and years and years ago, I approached, and we were talking because this guy asked me to do a cartoon for him, but he ran the Caribbean Business Journal and asked if I would and I asked, can I draw for you? He said, well, I really can't give you a staff position. I said, let's do this, pay me a nominal amount for the cartoons, but you get trade-offs, right? In your publications. So every year you fly me down to some fabulous Caribbean destination. I have, a drink and a coconut with an umbrella, and, that would have been fine. That would have been great. I wonder what would have happened. Oh, wait, it was print. Never mind. I know exactly what would have happened. I know exactly what would have happened.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I would have been living large in, Bonaire or St. Bart's or something and been poor. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Ted, so you
would
be
wasting away in Margarita Land.
So you'd vote for independence. I'd vote to become a state, actually. They've, like I said, they've had these referendums before in Puerto Rico, and there's a 3-way vote: maintain the status quo, sue for statehood, or sue for independence.
Yeah, All right.
You're in.
So let's show a few more of Mike's cartoons, and then
Yeah, we can talk for him.
Yeah, exactly, and at him.
What I meant to say is that ice is great. I love ice. That's what he meant to say. That's what this cartoon says to me.
No, I don't think so.
No, it's an ice agent with a colored chips. Well, like paint chips next to a little girl, and looking to see what color she is on that color chart. It's a very good cartoon.
And let's do another one.
This is the famous painting. He didn't say apologies to. Who painted this?
This is the French Revolution, right?
Yes, he covered up the boobs though.
Sadly.
Unafraid Dems.
The French Revolution should have great boobs.
Yes, who amongst us can disagree with that? But he fighting for democracy is Cartoonists, Unafraid Dems.
Oh, that's Delacroix. And believe it or not, it's not the French Revolution. It's the Revolution of 1830.
Was it really?
Toppled the Restoration King, Charles X.
Oh, I'll be darned. Okay, I had always assumed it was for the French Revolution. Well,
I did too. I mean, it's a French Revolution. It's not the French Revolution.
There's so many of them.
That's undeniably true. All right, let's put in some of yours. That you were foolish enough to send me. Now, you haven't been very prolific lately. And
no, I'm not prolific.
And you sent me two that we did last week.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Well, show the Jesse.
Very bad. This one.
Yeah, news item. Congress are fleeing. Over 30 congressmen have said they're not running for re-election. So, and this was maybe I just was really proud of the rats because you did mention the rats last times.
They're gorgeous rats.
Thank you. It's just rats scurrying away from the Capitol. News item: Congress fleeing job at historic rate, and a voice from the Capitol saying, "But we're about to screen Melania."
So I will not do another one that we saw last week, but we'll do this one.
This is an obit cartoon. I know you don't like them. And he says, you kept hope alive, Jesse. It was a tough one because let's talk about Jesse Jackson for a moment, because I know you have similar feelings about the guy. He was like most human beings who live a big life. He had big flaws and did things that were not attractive and were not in line with, I think, what MLK would have done, or really, so there was a lot of shakedowns that he's, I'm going to say purported, but now that he's dead, I guess I can libel him. Things like he got a beer distributorship, about two, I believe it is, and beer distributorships in the Chicago area when he threatened to have a boycott against Budweiser. And then all of a sudden he and his family, and it's pretty good money from those businesses. And so things like that. There are also from reporters and photographers who covered him, a lot of stories about improprieties and not adhering to his marriage vows very seriously. And that all of that kind of leads to, does any of that stuff mean that you're less great of a man? I mean, Gandhi slept with his, but had his nieces sandwich him when he slept. I mean, which is more than just a little weird. My point is that great men, great people are going to
great things,
do weird things. It can also, you can dovetail that into cartooning even. This cartoonist was great. Al Cap was, I think, inarguably the creator of, oh my God, Al Cap created what comic strip? The hillbilly one, the Labner. It was a great strip. Right. It's phenomenal. It was a phenomenon. But if you read his biography, this guy was a monster, and he was a serial rapist. And near the end, he would have been, Epstein's bestest buddy if he was alive today. There's a lot of the color chip cartoon. As someone saying, is take off the Family Guy gag. I mean, how can I put this stuff?
Well, the Family Guy gag is not original either. I've seen that used before, right? If memory serves, didn't Mike Keefe do a color chip cartoon about racial profiling that won a Pulitzer? Yeah,
it was in this Pulitzer package. So,
and that was many years ago. That was 20 plus years ago.
Yeah. And I suspect, I mean, like I said, I do cartoons that you look at them and then all of a sudden you say, oh shit, this was a Conrad cartoon from the 70s.
Yeah, that can happen for sure.
Yeah, more than once. Let's look at yours though. Let's see
All
what
right,
yours.
let's see. I think I have some. I don't think we looked at mine from last week. If so, I apologize. In which case, I will.
You're what?
Here. I will commit the honor of seppuku.
Oh, yours look. God, Ted. Did you rip me off again? Ted is showing my cartoons.
There we go. Oh yeah. So I decided to go subtle on this one.
This is Jesus on the cross, and the Roman guards, one of whom is masked, or looks like he's masked. Is that just the little hangy thing they have?
No, he's they literally, it's the helmet cover. They had that to cover their mouths.
And one of them is saying, "This is what you get when you get in the way of law enforcement." And the other Roman is, "Surely this wouldn't have happened had he remained in Nazareth and stuck to carpentry." This had to piss off a lot of our Christian nationalist friends.
I had several people who simply said, I never want to see Ted Rall's cartoons ever again. And as a result of this, I mean, look, this was obviously this is a take on the shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, and basically saying, look, these are the arguments that the right is making. Like, you interfere with law enforcement, you get what you get, and you do get upset. And if you get killed, oh well. And similarly, and that's not the country I live in, Scott. And then people say, oh, if you just stay home and you don't go to a protest, then nothing bad will happen to you.
Yeah, you should be able to go to a peaceful protest and not get, I don't know, shot or have that orange spray sprayed in your mouth. I mean, no, so this is not the America that I grew up in, or that I.
It's not the one I want to live in. It might be the one I grew up in, but it's not the one I want to be in. Here's another.
I wasn't. Well, except if you mentioned you live near Kent State.
No, I'm very happy with this cartoon.
Do you mean me? Do you want to read it? You want me to read it?
Go ahead. You can read it. I'm going to move.
Well, the DMZ America podcast.
I'm going to move that out of the way. Yeah.
Is blocking it, but it's 4 panels. First panel, guy walking into the room saying, there's a guy at his front door saying, yes. Hey, Ted, let's do this. I'll be the guy on the left. You be the guy on the right.
All right.
Yes.
2,000 years ago, I used to live here. Now I'm back. So you have to get out.
What?
Well, not me exactly. My ancestors. Oh, well, not my ancestors exactly. People I feel I would have hung out with. Now get out.
No, this book does not say you get to kick me out. And he's reading the Bible.
Yeah. And the guy says, if you dig in the yard, you'll find some 2,000-year-old stuff. My peeps lost.
Fine. But you're debunking with some Egyptian and Persian dudes who also used to live here.
So it's a critique of Zionism. I mean, I've been reading a lot of pro-Israel people online who basically are saying, like, they're arguing that Jews never left. That's not true. Jews left. I mean, they mostly left. Some of them, they never went down to zero, but they were in the low single digits for really the better part of 1900 years. And a lot of other people live there. I don't know if you can really say that because you used to live somewhere 2,000 years ago as one of many population groups, that gives you any kind of inherent right to live anywhere else. And then also the argument is like, well, if you dig there, you're going to find stuff from 2,000 years ago. That shows we have ancestral roots here. Yes, it does show that, but it doesn't mean you have a right to live there. And then it's like, by that standard, lots of people have lived in Palestine over the centuries and millennia, including the Egyptians and the Canaanites and the Persians. And, if we're going to have that argument, the Israelis are not ethnically the same as the Jews who lived in the Holy Land 2,000 years ago. But none of that matters. Look, the fact is, Israel doesn't have a right to exist because no country has a right to exist. Countries exist when they are able to seize, capture, they're able to seize territory and defend it at force of arms and keep other people from taking it from them. That country exists. It doesn't have a right to exist. No country has a right. A right to exist is stupid. And that's kind of like what I'm arguing. And that the argument for, once you find yourself, I would say that once you find yourself playing defense, as Zionists currently are, you're losing. And they are losing the argument, which is why they're getting desperate. They've suffered a terrible PR defeat, even as they've consolidated control over Gaza and the West Bank. But the world hates them now. And I don't know how you get back from that.
Did you hear the Kushner, the president's son-in-law, saying what exactly is going to come up? And you weren't far removed. You weren't far wrong, Ted. Did you hear? He announced during the peace panel.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, which only costs you $1 billion to join.
Announced that they're peace like freedom is not free, Scott. It costs $1 billion.
They are going to build a resorts on the water.
It'll be Sandals Gaza.
No, it'll be Mar-a-Lago, in casino in there in Gaza.
Club Planet Hollywood Gaza.
Yeah. So there we go. Do you have another cartoon before
I have one more?
Yay!
And then we shall. That'll be it for the cartoons. It's if you saw what I had to go through, Scott. If only you knew. Right, here we go. This one.
Well, a grateful nation. I'll be the guy on the left. You be the guy on the right.
All right. So this is people in a prison camp, basically in an ice gulag, being led into the showers to be executed.
And don't forget, folks, the news coming out is that ICE has been buying up a bunch of storage space. They're not exactly storage units. That would be nice by comparison to what they're building, or at least renting. They're renting warehouses. Think about this for human beings.
Well, the thing is, Scott, as we talked about, they're going to be completely, even if they round up every last illegal immigrant who committed any crime, down to and including traffic crimes, traffic violations, speeding, whatever, parking. We're going to be done with them within 9 months. And then we're going to have all these beds to fill, Scott. Yes. So many beds.
Yeah. What does that portend? So there's a line of guys in orange prison outfits being marched into the showers. And the first one is saying, this wouldn't have happened if leftists had shut up and voted for our corporate stooge.
And then the guy on the right goes, no, this wouldn't have happened if you hadn't tried to shove your corporate stooge down our throats. So this is about where I'm making fun of infighting on the left. Normally, I'm a big part of that infighting. I'm usually the guy on the right. But, I think that it is such a fucking emergency now with Trump and the fascism that is ascendant, that really, truly, if we had any brains at all, anybody who opposes Trump of any flavor, left, middle, or right, needs to put their differences aside and get together and just fight Trump, because this is a fucking emergency. The house is on fire. Grab a bucket and let's fight later.
Well, you talk about the midterms and you're convinced that we will not have them. I'm convinced that we probably will.
Well, we're not far apart there. I mean, I think, I think the odds are maybe 40% that we will have the midterms.
Okay.
Not nothing.
I think it's 50-50 right now. So we're 10% apart. That's, if we don't have the election, then it really is time to depart, because, that these warehouses, and again, I can't stress this enough, Ted. I know this is draconian, but I live on metaphor in my work and this, but they're buying warehouses. They're renting warehouses to store living human beings.
Yeah. Well, earlier in the show, earlier today, I was talking to producer Robbie West who's very, pro deportations about this topic. And he agreed that they are, he brought up an interesting point. He's like, why does it take 60 days, which is the amount of time that it's being given for the deportation of these hundreds of thousands of people, 60 days each? And the answer is because the answer is obvious, because it's about feeding the prison industrial complex, right? And it's about money. So even from that point of view, right, you wouldn't really need to have such massive. Here's the thing. They don't really need as many beds as they're buying. They probably would be okay with what they have now. The fact that they want to build these facilities, to me, indicates that they have other things in mind. And the president hasn't been shy about saying that people born in the United States who he finds annoying should be deported. He has said that on a bunch of occasions.
Well, and where they're being deported to, and this is where my fear comes in for me and Ted, is that we get picked up and, we could fight it. We'll have the ACLU presumably fighting for us.
Yeah.
And then
there will be very sternly worded letters written on our behalf.
And then 90 days later, we get a court case where after 90 days, Ted and Scott have been sent off to one of the camps, which I'm not making this shit up, in Eritrea, which is the poor man's Somalia. And so, two old geezers thrown into a tropical death camp where, they don't kill you. They don't shoot you. They don't gas you.
They don't need to.
They just make you live there. And then the mosquitoes do the work for them.
That's true.
That's what I'm most afraid of. If I had to be, that's down to the bone. That's exactly what I'm afraid of, is that guys like us, they're setting up mechanizations and they're setting up processes where Ted and Scott can be sent into the gaping maw that is Trump internment camps around the world, never to be heard from again. I mean, could you imagine, how long do you think you and I would last at that camp in El Salvador?
Oh God, it's terrifying.
24 hours?
If we're lucky, maybe 72 hours, maybe.
Oh God, you're more wily than I am.
I'll just hide in the toilet.
That would be, because given that this prison they have is largely drug gangs, other very, very bad actors,
very unpleasant people,
and then two dudes from doughy suburban America.
No, it wouldn't be good. It would definitely not be good. And look, I think this may not go the way. The thing is, though, it's going to be. It's pretty obvious what they have in mind, and we should just, follow Awesome's razor. Most of the time, things are exactly the way that they look.
Yeah. No, I agree. And so it's difficult. It's difficult to move. It's difficult to leave. That one person said, "I'm not leaving. I'm not gonna puss out. I'm going to stay and fight." And there's a part of me that's like, "Yeah, right on." But then there's another part of me is like, I can't. When 100 ICE goons descend on my house, what have I achieved by letting them fill my mouth with orange bear spray, whatever the fuck they're using, and shoot me in the head?
There's that.
And being a martyr, I, as a Catholic, that'd be great. I'd have my own medal. Did you know there's no Saint Scott, by the way?
Really?
Yeah, there's no Saint Scott. There's a Saint Theodore.
Well, of course.
There's a Saint Frederick. There's not a Ted Rall yet.
Not yet. Well, that's after I get gulagged.
Yes. Well, what would you be the patron saint of?
Oh, political button collecting, I think.
Ooh, and I'd be the patron saint of flags.
There's still no patron saint. Is there a patron saint of the arts?
There's got to be several.
Okay, about a political cartooning.
I doubt. No, I looked up
podcasting. Be forward looking.
Did you know there's actually a patron saint of television?
Really?
I'm not sure. Francis's sister is I believe is the one that she's one because when she revealed herself to someone who was praying, it looked like a television. It was projected onto a surface and it looked like television. Dude, I'm not making this up. We're both practiced.
God, what would my mother have said? She always had this. She had the calendar with all the Catholic saints on it for every day in French. She loved that thing with the individual stories of how each one was martyred.
Yes.
Anyway, Scott, that does it for today's show.
Okay.
Thanks everyone for tuning into the DMZ America podcast for February 19th. We'll be back a week from now, Thursday, February 26th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. In the meantime, check me out Monday through Friday at on D program with John Kiriakou, 9 a.m. Eastern. 10 a.m. Eastern is TMI show with me and Manila Chan. but there's going to be some shuffling around probably as we scheme, you and I, Scott. Right?
Yes.
We're scheming.
Yes. We asked you the question and we're taking your answers to heart.
We are. And I think you guys know what that answer is going to be. All right. So, Scott, we now enter the audio entertainment portion of the show, although it's supposed to all be audio entertainment, but this is the real audio entertainment. And
we lost Mike Luckovich. He didn't die. We just lost the signal. Folks.
Yeah, well, he may have died. We don't know that. Anyway.
Anyway, well, let's pray now.
All right, here we go.
Mike, thanks for coming on. So this is for Mike. He's a cartoonist in Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia, like a little, I got Georgia on my mind.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in.